Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Killing Time, Discussing Crime, a true crime podcast hosted by me, April, and my beautiful, wonderful, intelligent, and incredibly talented co-host, Brittany. Today we are bringing you the case of Emma Walker. We hope you enjoy. So you've already read through it with Nathan?
No.
Oh, so you lied to me?
I haven't read it ever. Actually, I shouldn't say that because it might sound like I haven't.
Oh.
Because as soon as I read it out loud before I came here and I read it perfectly, but then as soon as I know someone's listening or I'm recording,
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, when I was
but I will.
driving home before, it occurred to me I think part of it is I was like, why do I get so nervous? When you turn the mic on, why do I get so nervous? And I was like, oh, no one in my life discusses this with me. Like, I spend so much time listening or like immersed in true crime.
Actually speaking on it is so foreign.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah. So I was like, oh,
I
okay.
haven't practiced this with anyone, but you, in your mind, you think you're really across it, but
Yeah.
I've only been a consumer. I haven't been a
producer of true crime knowledge.
Yeah.
I like those memes that are out at the moment. It's like, why a podcast after 20 minutes of talking? Like, all right, let's get right into it.
It's the mood completely changes.
Yes. Okay. All right. I don't like the idea of introducing it because it's like, hey, welcome back. You're like, welcome to the first ever, because that's kind of a lie.
It is kind of a lie, but
welcome to what we hope will be our first episode.
Let's just see how this one goes.
Of Killing Time, Discussing Crime. All right. Okay, we're locked in. We've said it.
Yeah.
Okay. I am April. It's so weird. It's so strange.
Weird. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Brittany.
Hi, Brittany.
Okay, should I just do it?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Is it recording?
It is recording.
Okay. All right, so we'll just jump into it. So I heard about this case a year or two ago, and it's just stuck with me. It's a really sad one, and it's quite frustrating just because it's such an unnecessary case. And we'll just dive in, but I do want to preface it with a bit of a trigger warning.
Yes.
As we'll be touching on themes of abusive relationships and attempted suicide. So if either are triggering for you, please look after yourself. So, a football player and a cheerleader fall in love.
Mm-hmm.
It's the picture-perfect fairy tale that a lot of young people dream of. Your first love is often intense, but when heartbreak, jealousy, and rejection turns the relationship toxic, these so-called fairy tales can turn deadly. And for Emma Walker, this is unfortunately the case. I don't know if you've heard of this case before.
When you said cheerleader and football player, it rings a bell. Is she blonde? Have you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I mean, that doesn't narrow it down with cheerleaders, but I think I know.
We'll start from the very beginning. So Emma Jane Walker was born on the 20th of March in the year 2000 to parents Jill and Mark Walker in Knoxville, Tennessee, along with her brother Evan. When I was doing my research, there was an overwhelming amount of people in her life describing Emma as a beautiful, vibrant, and warm-hearted person. I actually saw an interview with some of her friends who stated people would initially look at Emma and think, oh, here's this super pretty cheerleader, she must be really up herself or arrogant.
Yeah.
But when they actually met Emma, they realised just what such a wholesome and down-to-earth soul she was.
It always happens to, like, the best of people.
Ones.
Yeah.
Yes. So she was said to be one of those people who just cared for everyone around her and just got along with anyone she met. which also makes sense when you hear that her dream career was to be a neonatal nurse.
Oh my
which
goodness.
is for anyone who doesn't know, working with newborns and
Yeah.
who are premature or unwell or birth defects.
Yeah, I was going to say, is neonatal even pre-birth? Like, identifying... This is based off my extensive knowledge from Grey's Anatomy.
So it must be
It
legit.
must be that. Yes. That's how I
That's
got
a
my
great
degree.
question.
Yeah.
I feel like we've all got a degree from Grey's Anatomy.
Yep.
Or House or just watching TikTok, I feel like. That's where I've got mine from.
And a good Google
Yeah.
will get me there too. Yeah.
So I think it takes a really special person to do a job like that. And I know myself, like I've got a few family and friends who are nurses and just have the utmost respect for people who can be in that industry and the amount of dedication and resilience you have to have
Oh, yeah.
day in, day out. Yeah, it's truly unmatched. So along with this, Emma also volunteered at an animal shelter. So I think her passions really speak to her character and just what such a caring personality she really was. So Emma's other main interest was competitive dancing and cheerleading, which she was really successful at. During her freshman year, when Emma was 14 years old, she met a boy named William Riley Gall. Yeah, unfortunate in the surname department.
Yeah.
Who went by the name Riley, so he dropped the...
Wait, what was his first name?
William
Riley.
Yeah,
okay, but he went by Riley.
I
feel like that's quite common in America.
I also would think that. I feel like I've listened to a lot of cases where they only refer to them as their, like, what is a middle name.
Yeah. Actually, I have a student, I won't say his name, but he, on the roll, has his second name as well, and he interchanges, like, he'll introduce himself as his first name or his second name.
Oh, just like whatever he's feeling on the day.
Yeah, and I don't get it. One of them called him by his middle name the other day, and I was like, that's not his name. Like, yeah, it is. It's his middle name. I was like, yeah, that's not his name, though. I'd hate to get called Lauren.
Just expose your middle name.
Oh, yeah.
At least it's a nice name.
I hate it.
Do you?
Yeah. I grew up hating my name.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's such a beautiful name.
No, I got just the constant jokes about April.
Yeah,
constant from everyone. Yeah. I always wanted to change it.
Yeah.
And then Lauren, I don't know. I think I associate it with, like, old people. Sorry to the Laurens that are my age that I know.
Well, I think it's pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I grew up just having it's Britney bitch everywhere I went, so that's what you just said earlier.
Yeah, leave Britney alone. Whenever I crack a joke like that, I'm like, I would have hated that. Like, why did I do that? I've got a friend, Eileen, who I will make listen to this. She's about to move to the UK. Aww. But when we met and we were on a Top Deck tour, whenever, like, we'd request for that song to be played, and I'm pretty sure it even played at the wedding for a quick snapshot of a second. Yeah. But, you know, I feel, she was like, I've heard it my whole life, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I feel it too, I'm sorry.
You don't hear too many people with that name these days.
No, it suits her. She rocks it. Like, she's
That's
so
really cool.
I love you.
Shout out.
Awkward if she never listens to it. Anyway, some aeroplane listening. Back to Riley.
So yeah, back to Riley. So Riley was 2 years older than Emma and a wide receiver for the Bobcats football team that Emma cheered for. So Riley was a junior in high school and was described as a funny, intelligent young man who had a nerdy side and loved to play video games, and was described as not your classic jock type.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, Riley was actually in a relationship with another girl.
Oh, at 14? Or is he a little bit older?
No, he was 16.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So Emma was 14.
Yeah.
He was 16. But broke it off with this girlfriend to date Emma.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I feel like that's illegal. Like, just a little bit, right?
And I didn't write it down, but I remember reading that he felt bad, obviously, for breaking up with his first girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, ended up taking her to, I get confused with the different, like, year levels of American schooling, but I think it was, like, the junior year prom.
Yeah.
But then took Emma to the senior year prom or something.
Oh, so there's freshman, which is year 9, sophomore, which is year 10, junior, year 11, senior, year 12.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there. He went to 2.
It was obviously enough for Emma's parents to be like, are your priorities straight? Like, why are you still taking your ex to prom when you're also taking our daughter? So
yeah, and also a 16-year-old dating a 14-year-old, like, that to me, it's just a bit iffy.
I mean, like, 2 years in the scheme of things in like adulthood, I feel like isn't much to blink at, but when you're young, 2 years is a huge gap.
Yeah, especially toward, like, they're not like 9 and 7 and it's a crush in like primary school or something. It's like you're an older boy and it's a younger girl, and I even remember in high school, like, if someone older paid attention to you, it was like the coolest thing, but you're just in different worlds.
Yeah, I mean, that's how me and my partner got together. I was 16 or 15 actually, and he showed interest. He was a year above, so I was like, ooh.
Year above, yep, cool one. But 14, like, you could be in year 8 at 14. Yeah. Like, starting year 9. Those are the pivotal years.
Sure are.
Oh, dangerous. All right.
So Emma and Riley started dating and became the quote-unquote popular football player and cheerleader high school couple. So Emma's mum, Jill, initially described Riley as the boy next door. He came in very polite and nice in the beginning and was super likeable. Emma's father, Mark, also stated that he thought he was a very nice-looking young man and very well-mannered. Emma's friends stated it was hard to get to know him at the start, but put it down to him being quite shy.
Oh, wow.
They commented that Emma seemed happy with Riley, which was clear when looking at her social media accounts, being absolutely filled with pictures of them together, which I did see photos, and she was a pretty regular poster. So.
Yeah.
However, Emma's friends and family began to grow concerned when they noticed that Riley didn't want Emma to hang out with anyone else but him. Riley started to display some controlling behaviour, like dictating what she could and couldn't wear, and became very jealous and possessive, which I think is such a red flag. And I think we all have experiences, whether it's our own or someone like close to us in a relationship with someone who's really toxic when it comes to those behaviours. And sometimes it can be harmless, like obviously still really out of line, but I think other times it can be a warning that something more serious is happening. It's
never a well-adjusted person that is putting down demands like that.
Exactly.
And I think I thankfully haven't, and if I have, I'm not aware of it, but like haven't experienced that type of relationship.
No, either have I.
But I've had friends.
I was going to say.
Definitely friends.
I think everyone, like as I said, everyone's either had it themselves, unfortunately, or have known someone close to them, which, it's heartbreaking how common it is.
Yeah, and you find that like people like that, they end up, I think one of their main goals is isolation of that person that they're trying to control. So even if you, like I know in the past, you try and bring it up with friends and it's almost like you're the enemy, like you're the one, and they almost just have to see it for themselves. Like it's just scary how
it is. And going on that, so Emma's friends did try to voice their concerns about his behaviour, and she would often brush it off and say there's nothing to be worried about. It's reported that Emma and Riley had a tumultuous relationship and would be on again and off again with dramatic breakups, each one getting more and more intense. And with this, Riley's behaviour began to grow even more concerning, with one of Emma's friends even stating that Riley would often wait outside of the supermarket that Emma would work at for hours.
Oh, so. I thought you were going to say like he just waited out while she like did her shopping, but
no.
I was like, oh, okay, didn't go in with her. But no, while where she worked.
Yeah.
Don't you have anything better to do?
Well, clearly not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like maybe get another hobby.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, so not a good start to old Riles. So Riley also started to send some really aggressive messages over Snapchat that said, quote, this is going to blow your mind, I hate you, I hate everything about you, and you're the biggest bitch I've ever come into contact with. And one message in particular really alarmed Emma's parents, that read, quote, you're dead to me, I'll check the obituary, F you.
Oh my God, not absolutely not implying that she deserved any of it. But was there any context? Like, had they had a fight, or was it that she was trying to push back? Or
Fights, but then at the same time, he would always follow it up with an apology straight away.
Of course.
Like, Emma, I'm sorry for however I act, and I love you more than words to describe.
I act this way because of how much I love you.
Yeah.
Like, love bombing.
And I can't imagine reading that as a parent as well, and like wanting to protect your children from everything, but unfortunately, you know,
Snapchat is a scary domain as well, because so many people use it thinking you can't trace. Like, if the message disappears, it disappears, but it doesn't. No.
So I think it was really hard for her to navigate, you know, dealing with someone who's so manipulative and possessive, and it being her first love. Like, she doesn't have anything to compare it off.
And it's the older boy, and he's on the football team, and she's the cheerleader.
Exactly. And, you know, getting whiplash between that aggressive behaviour and love bombing.
Yeah.
Like, so confusing. It's a horrible position for her to be in. So following this, Emma's parents pleaded with Emma to break up with Riley several times and actually banned him from their home.
Yeah.
They stated that Riley had a way of isolating Emma, which touches on what you said earlier, and made her feel like he was the only one that she would need. Yeah.
Oh, gives me chills.
It does, yeah. Her parents could see through this manipulative behaviour, so they took away Emma's mobile in an attempt to stop the two from communicating. However, unsurprisingly, Riley was one step ahead and gave Emma an iPod Touch to allow them to message via Wi-Fi.
Oh my goodness.
Which meant her parents also didn't have visibility on this. So
yeah.
It sounds like her parents were trying to do everything they could to protect her. And also, as we know, like, being a teenager ourselves as well, when you're told not to do something, you want to do it 10 times over.
Or it's even like that mentality of, no, my parents just don't understand,
exactly.
So I'm gonna do it. Like, I know what's best for me.
Exactly. Like, they don't they don't get it.
And a bloody iPod Touch. That's what I took to America when I went with Morgs, and that's what Anth and I talked on all the time.
Yeah, remember that Ping Chat?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that was when I had Snapchat on for the first time, actually.
Oh, goodness me.
Yep.
Blast from the past.
Whenever I talk to the boys, I'm like, I've had Snapchat since, like, I was in year 11.
Yeah.
They're like, well, it's not that old. Shut up, I'm not that old, right?
Okay, so towards the end of 2016, Riley had graduated and was a freshman at Maryville College, which was an approximate 30-minute drive from Emma. Emma was 16 years old and in her junior year of high school at the time. In a bid to keep her safe, Emma's parents initiated a rule that she was only to leave the house for school or cheerleading. Her parents commented that they saw a huge shift in Emma following this, and she began to get her spark back and began socialising and having dinner with her family again, which is something that she hadn't done in quite some time.
She probably felt safe. Like, even though they put additional boundaries on her, she was probably like, oh my gosh, he can't get to me within these, and I have a legitimate reason as to why I can't. Oh, my parents have basically grounded me. I'm... Like, again, it's probably a testament to her true character that she responded to that in a positive way. Like, not all 14, 15-year-olds would. Some might
rebel.
Yeah, rebel even harder.
Yeah, you're right. In addition to this, after seeing many Snapchat photos of Riley with other girls from his college, and to her parents' and friends' surprise, Emma decided that enough was enough and broke up with Riley once and for all.
Good on her.
So Emma and her family in particular were relieved that she had broken out of this toxic relationship, which power to you, sister. However, for Riley, things weren't so simple. Riley did not take this breakup well. In fact, Riley attempted to take his own life in his college dorm room through the means of overdose on Vicodin pills and alcohol.
Ooh.
However, survived the attempt. So he was clearly not coping with the rejection, and I think his friends and family obviously began to really worry about his mental state and well-being.
Yeah.
So jumping to Friday, November 18th, 2016, Emma attended a party at a friend's house. At 11:30 p.m. that night, Emma disclosed to some friends that during the night she'd been receiving some strange text messages from a number she didn't recognise. These texts read, quote, "Go to your car with your keys, go alone, I've got someone you love. If you don't comply, I will hurt them."
Oh my God.
Emma was suspicious that one of Riley's friends was actually playing a prank on her.
Yeah.
But texted back threatening to call the police. However, the text messages became more aggressive. Quote, if you'd like to hear his crying and screams, give him a call. Then suddenly, in a panic, Emma then stated to her friend Zach that the next message read, quote, Riley has been dropped outside the house.
Oh my goodness.
Very weird.
Yep.
The two ran outside and sure enough found Riley face down in a ditch. The two were met with a confused Riley stating he'd been hit over the head, kidnapped and left in the ditch.
I was going to say, let me guess, alone. No.
How convenient. So Emma's friend Zach later commented it was a very weird situation and Emma was really confused and uneasy and saw it as a ploy to get her attention.
Yeah.
And
Smart girl.
I know. And apparently Emma ended up saying, we just broke up, like, leave me alone.
Yeah. Imagine if you had been kidnapped. Like,
no.
Imagine.
He's like, no, seriously.
Like, I know I've done some pretty crappy things, but, like, I actually got kidnapped.
So, spoiler alert. I don't.
He didn't. He didn't. Spoiler.
So, once Riley got up and walked away, he actually called one of his good mates to say he'd been kidnapped, but even his friend didn't believe him. Mm-hmm. Especially when Riley refused to get the police involved when it was suggested.
Yes.
So it's like, oh no, wait, no, I'm good.
I'd like to see that, the, like, place where he got hit over the head
as
well. I'd love to see what that looks like. Yeah.
So, obviously, big elaborate plan for attention, but everyone around Riley saw through it, and clearly Emma wasn't fooled either. So, yeah. Kind of.
But, like, why? Like, let's just say this scenario where he is trying to pass off that he did get kidnapped. The person didn't ask for money or anything, like...
No, I think it's just, like, he was probably expecting her to feel sorry for him and be like, let me take you in and care for you, like, trying to get that closeness back.
Yeah.
And she's like, absolutely not.
I'm like, the logistics of the hypothetical kidnapping don't make sense. And you're like,
where's
I
the
think
proof?
it was for attention. Yeah, where's the proof?
I need hard, cold evidence.
I think he's a liar.
I'm just going to say it.
There's
I think he's lying.
something in the waters.
So, the next Saturday morning, Emma was home alone and was getting ready to go out when she was startled to see someone dressed in all black at her front door, ringing the doorbell and banging the door repeatedly. Unfortunately, in a moment of panic, Emma turned to Riley and messaged him saying, quote, I hate you, but I need you right now. Which is, yeah.
Oh, and it's like, I'm going to predict it's him. It's like imagine, she's just like texted him, his phone goes off. She's like, damn it.
Right.
Oh, the poor girl, like...
He's just, like, waiting to be her knight in shining armour. I think, like, that's what it's coming across as.
That's so horrible. Like, she must have been so scared.
She sent a text to her friend saying, I thought I was going to die. Like, she was so terrified, the poor thing. And Riley replied that he was speeding over as fast as he could. Mm-hmm. Coincidentally, the mystery man in all black disappeared once Riley arrived. Like, go figure.
I scared him off.
Yeah, look at me, macho man.
Oh my goodness.
So Emma's mother, Jill, then came home to find the two sitting in the front yard together. She obviously freaked out, given Riley had been previously banned from the home.
Yeah.
So Jill asked Riley to leave. To which Riley responded, he was only there to make sure she was okay, and then got up to leave. Emma was visibly upset and stated she was worried it was a burglar or a stalker. Yeah. But Jill wasn't as convinced and attempted to talk with her daughter about how strange it was that Riley appeared to be involved with both events in such a short time span. Yeah. But she was obviously too shaken up to see that point of view.
How long between the two things?
It was literally the next day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so the Friday night was the party.
Yeah.
And then the Saturday was the attempted burglar situation.
I actually really feel for her that she thought it was serious.
Yeah, I know.
The poor thing.
So I'll just say, like, all this case happens within, like, a couple of days of each other. Like, it's... the way it escalates is, like, super frightening. And, you know, the last few days of her life was just filled with such terror. Like... Yeah.
When he attempted to take his life, did he end up in hospital or anything? Or wasn't really clear?
It wasn't super clear. A lot of people... The research I was doing, a lot of people don't actually include that part. And I don't
Yeah.
know if it's because they're questioning if it actually happened or if
Yeah.
it's something he said he did
Yeah.
as an attention ploy. I don't want to speculate in case he actually did.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not my intention, but it was a bit unclear,
It's
the
just
details around that part. Yeah.
If it's just wild to think that if that was the case and his friends and family were getting concerned why he didn't end up in hospital as well. So you do want, again, like if it was serious, then that's very sad that he's in that position. But let's just say he did as well. If his friends and family haven't pushed and this is the psychotic break that's happened because of it, like there's clues that it's escalating. That's the thing. I don't
Definitely.
know. Yeah.
And I've really tried to find more information on his family and upbringing.
Yeah.
Super difficult. Couldn't really find a lot at all.
Wow.
From what I know, I think his parents were separated. I think he had a stepfather, which comes in a little bit later. So I don't know like what his network looked like either.
Yeah.
Like whether he
stable
chose to
or
keep
not.
it
Yeah.
to himself, or maybe he only told a couple of people. I don't really know. It was a bit hard to find, but either way, very concerning.
Yeah.
So obviously Emma's parents were very concerned, and the next day, so we're talking Sunday now,
Wow.
they followed Emma to work and home again to ensure her safety because, as we know, Riley's got a history of waiting outside of the workplace for hours on end.
His parents are just trying to do absolutely
I
everything.
know. It gets even more sad.
Oh.
So by Sunday night, Jill and Mark reported that things seemed to have calmed down and somewhat back to normal. Emma messaged a friend about an assignment, said goodnight to her parents, settled into bed just after midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Shortly after, Riley called Emma using a friend's phone and alleged Emma stated that she had no interest in getting back together with him, and the conversation quickly ended from there. However, Riley spammed her phone with countless texts and around 40 calls, leaving numerous voicemails until it finally stopped.
I wonder if they were able to obtain any of those voicemails.
I think they have, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
A lot of them were just, why won't you take me back, pretty much. So during the middle of the night, around 3 a.m, Mark...
It's always 3 a.m.
I know,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, always.
What's it called?
Witching hour. Yeah.
For you paranormal lovers out there. So Emma's father, Mark, reported hearing a loud banging noise and likened it to the sound of someone slamming a door really hard within the house.
Oh, within the house.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And I think, like, clearly when you wake up to a noise in the middle of the night and you're, like, startled and you're confused and you're, like, second-guessing, like, did I dream that? Did I actually hear it? Like, I know for me, I always jump to, like, someone's trying to get in, but that's probably because I listen to, like, so much true crime.
Yeah.
It's usually, like, just...
Oh, sorry. Scrubbed your toes.
Later. But yeah, usually it's like, you know, my bunny's throwing around cardboard boxes or something downstairs.
Yeah.
Like, it's usually nothing.
With my, just to veer off topic a tiny bit, I was sitting there getting my hair done today, and Steph's like, do you get worried when you're home alone without Anthony that something's going to happen? I was like, not usually.
Now I will.
Well, I said to her, it's funny.
Is that a threat?
Yeah. She's like, where do you live again? No, because I said to her, I was like, oh, it's funny that you asked that, because I was lying in bed last night and the dogs were with me. They usually will bark.
I was going to say, you've got your 2 guard dogs.
But then I was just compelled to, like, check the cameras, because we've got 3 in the backyard.
You hear that, everyone? She's got cameras.
I've got cameras.
So do I.
Yeah. And I've got laser beams. A shark moat. Sorry, that just reminded me of Austin Powers with the sharks with lasers.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them around the house.
But I was just, so I checked the cameras and, like, nothing happened. But I was staring at the backyard in, like, night mode. I was like, just imagine, like, someone.
I do that all the time. Like, middle of the night,
Yeah.
I'll pull up the bunny cam, which is in our garage.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I did tell you that time, sorry, I'm going off topic.
That's
that
fine.
I turned on the camera and there was a rat like in front of the camera, like staring at me.
Oh, that's terrifying.
And I was actually in Bali at the time,
Oh.
and Mum was, shout out to you, Rhonda, was looking after the buns at the time, but she is like a 15-minute drive from
Yeah.
her house, and it was like 1 a.m. back in Melbourne. And I could not sleep knowing there was a rat stuck in with the bunnies. So I called her up and I was like, Mum, there's a rat. It's like chasing the bunnies around.
Oh
And
my
she's
gosh.
like, my babies. And like drove over. Watching her on the camera run around the garage with a broom, like
Oh
trying
my
to get this rat out of the
gosh.
garage.
Oh.
Anyway.
Why was it chasing a rabbit? I hate that. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was like jumping over them. Apparently they're attracted to the poops of the bunnies.
Oh, I was going to say like the paws. I was like, oh, the rabbit paws. I used to have this reoccurring dream as a child of, it was just like a normal setting. Like one of them I vividly remember. I was in the bath. Like this, again, going off topic. But I would only see the rat's like tail or the back, but it was like a big rat. And it was, whatever it was like super evil. But I'd just be like doing something mundane, and then it'd be like, oh, I catch it walking past
No.
no idea why. But I reckon I had it 3 times, if that counts as reoccurring.
Like if it's a reoccurring,
Yeah.
it means something.
I've always vividly been able to remember my dreams.
Same.
Yeah, and Mum and Dad bought me like a dream journal once, and then one of the dogs ripped it up, but not these
To my
dogs.
friend Lindsay. Shout out Lindsay if you're listening.
Lindsay.
She loves listening to dreams and like working out what they mean.
Ooh.
And, yeah, she's great.
Yeah, it's I have some weird ones, very weird ones. Oh, anyway, what were we
Anyway.
talking about?
So there was
Backtrack.
some banging in the middle
Oh
of the
yeah,
night.
yeah.
Mark then heard it a second time.
Yeah.
So he sprang under bed to check out to make sure Emma and Evan were both safe. Mark reports that when he opened Emma's door, she was peacefully lying in bed and everything seemed to be fine. Nothing was amiss. So he went back to bed.
Yeah.
So the morning of November 21st started out just like any other Monday. Emma's parents were getting ready, and at approximately 6:15 a.m., Jill enters Emma's room to wake her up for the day. Emma was still under the covers, so Jill shook her leg to wake her up, but there was no response.
Oh,
And
what?
from what I read, she's a light sleeper, so this was already a bit alarming.
Yeah.
Jill was calling her name, but still no response. Jill suddenly had a sinking feeling that something was terribly wrong.
Yeah.
Probably a bit of a mother's instinct. She looked at Emma's face and noticed her lips were blue.
Oh,
So Jill immediately called 911 to say that her 16-year-old daughter was unresponsive in her bed, and heartbreakingly, she couldn't find her pulse.
oh my goodness.
So the stunning, kind, and radiant Emma Walker unfortunately had passed away.
In her home.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
awful.
So Knox County Sheriff's Deputy Nikki Buells was the lead forensic technician on the case and stated the call originally came in as a possible suicide. So, however, upon inspection of the residence, she noticed a really small hole in the wall of Emma's bedroom right above where she slept. And when inspected closer, this hole was declared as a bullet hole.
Oh my god, I think I remember seeing this like years ago when I first heard this. And is there like a little diagram that's been drawn to
Yes.
show? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I remember.
So it was at this point suicide was obviously ruled out.
Yeah.
And then 2 shell casings were found outside the single-story home, indicating that 2 shots had been fired.
Yeah.
But obviously one's only been found at this time. And it was at shoulder height into the bedroom and only about 4 to 5 feet away from the wall itself.
Do we know what a foot is?
I always think Subway.
Yeah, so like
4 or 5 subways, footlongs.
okay, all right.
I'm really bad with measurements, so I will tend to use things that like I can imagine. I'm like, oh yeah, that looks like a Subway sandwich.
Yeah.
Even though I hate Subway. I got food poisoning and I haven't had it for like 10 years.
Me trying to hang another hook today. I was like, for anyone that's not, this is not a visual medium. I was just using my hand to measure on the wall. And I got, surprisingly, I got the distance right. I got the height wrong. So when I hung it, I was like, that was my last hook. I had to take it down.
I think like just going off what is in my head, it's probably around like 2 to 3 meters, maybe. I could be completely off.
5, 6, 3 feet. What's 3 feet in netball? About a meter?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang on. How long is it? 5 feet.
4 to 5 feet.
4 to 5 feet. So 5.
It's pretty darn close for a bullet
in meters
to be shot into a wall.
1.5 meters.
What did I say? I said 2 to 3, didn't I?
I think so. I mean, I'd be able to listen. I'd be like, no, you said
Cut it
7.
out.
Yeah.
Cut the cameras.
Ant's really good at it. Every time I'm like, oh, what's a foot? And he's like, I tell you this every time.
My
I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah,
I can't even do that maths. Anyway.
So it was, 1.5 meters away from the house, I guess. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
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 And then a second bullet hole.
That's not far. That's not far at all.
It's not.
Yeah, a second bullet hole, yep.
Was found present in the bedroom as well.
So they're both in the wall, just in different spots.
Yeah.
Okay.
So shortly after, it was determined that Emma had been killed by a bullet that hit behind her left ear, likely killing her instantly.
What? This is like sniper level stuff. Oh,
And
gosh.
the second bullet was actually lodged in her pillow.
Oh.
So close together.
Wow.
So Jill and Mark watched their home being turned into a crime scene before their eyes, and it was clear that whoever had shot these bullets knew exactly where Emma's room was, and particularly where her bed was positioned. Yeah, exactly. So once the news of Emma's death spread, there was hundreds of tributes that were coming flooding in on social media, including many posts from Riley, with one stating, quote, "Living every day through Emma Walker. I love you, beautiful, and know you're in a better place now."
Oh.
Yeah.
And that, like, eerily, that is not deflecting any, like, responsibility either. Like, that statement isn't like a who would do this type of thing.
Yeah.
It's a, oh.
Yeah, it's gross.
To interject, every time I listen to a true crime podcast and someone's like, oh my God, I got, like, goosebumps or chills, I never, like, when I'm listening, I'm like, surely you don't. Like, how, but I've had it like 3 times.
Have you?
Well, yeah. I listen to something that you say and I'm like, oh, that gives me the heebie-jeebies. Yeah.
It's not nice. So the night after Emma's death, her devastated friends held a candlelight vigil at their school to celebrate her life, as well as release balloons at the Bobcats football game that week.
Mm-hmm. Please tell me he didn't. Oh no, he's graduated. That's okay. I was like, please tell me he didn't play.
Out.
He's gone. Okay.
So detectives got to work and began interviewing people close to Emma, and noticed that the same name kept being brought up time after time. Can you guess who it is?
William. Riley.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh.
So even more alarmingly, during questioning, Riley's friend Alex McCarty disclosed to detectives a secret he'd shared the night of the alleged kidnapping, if we go back a few days. So Riley was apparently so fearful of his life that he had stolen his grandfather's gun, which, side note, had been reported as missing the day prior to Emma's death, and showed it to Alex. And Riley told Alex that he was so worried that whoever was out to get him was also out to get Emma as well, so wanted to protect her. And if this wasn't cause for concern enough for detectives, Noah Walton, who was another friend of Riley's, also shared with detectives that Riley had asked him how to remove fingerprints off a gun, and quickly followed up that he was asking for a roommate. Pretty suspicious.
How's your day? Yeah, good. I just have a question.
Yeah, quick one.
It's like when people are like, oh, what's the quickest way
to hide a body?
Yeah, to hide a body.
Yeah.
Where can I hide a body?
Yeah.
Just asking for a friend.
Super casual.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So unsurprisingly, Riley was brought into questioning very quickly. And the most horrible thing I read was not once did he refer to Emma by her name, but just kept stating the girl. So like Riley was reported saying, quote, "The girl, she texted me," and then detectives would ask, "Which girl?" And he'd respond, "The one that passed away." So like already
so
completely
much
detaching himself.
Yeah,
like,
depersonalizing it.
Yeah. And they also found that phone records placed Riley in the vicinity of Emma's address at approximately 3:45 a.m. and detectives already knew that Emma had passed away somewhere between 2:30 and 3 a.m.
Did that line up with the noise that the dad heard?
So I think the noise, I think they said it was around 2:30 to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
He heard the noise. I might have said 3. But
was that, he said it sounded like a door, but was that the bullet going through the
gunshot,
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, if this wasn't suspicious enough, Riley also denied knowing anything to do with his grandfather's missing gun, showing this gun to his friend Alex, or asking Noah how to remove fingerprints off a gun. Alex then asked Riley why he was concealing the gun if he had nothing to hide, to which Riley's response was, "You've nothing to worry about," and assured he was not responsible for Emma's death, but just didn't want to falsely incriminate himself in any way.
Oh, gosh.
So Alex and Noah wanted to support the investigation and were understandably very frustrated with Riley as they knew he was lying. So they decided to team up with police to set a trap. They knew if they wasted any time, Riley would soon dispose of the gun.
Yeah.
So the next night, just one day after Emma's death, detectives wired Alex and Noah up with microphones, a transmitter, which allows you to hear in real time, and a hidden video camera. The aim of the operation was to recover the potential murder weapon and catch Riley in a lie. Alex and Noah invited Riley over to play video games and position the hidden camera.
The Camry.
So they got a car.
Just, what's that in the corner under the blanket? Don't worry about it.
Don't look at it.
Don't worry about it.
It's always here.
The police are just in there. Don't take the blanket off. How nerve-wracking as friends, though.
And you know what? I read that police were very much like, "Are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah,
it could be very dangerous." And they were like, "No, we're worried that if we don't do this, justice won't get served."
No.
So,
and you so think, it'd just happen again. Down the track. In some way, shape or form.
I know. And it was actually one of the things I was going to bring up to you later on, which maybe we'll circle back. But it's like, what could have happened if he wasn't stopped, you know?
Yeah.
So, obviously, so the hidden camera was was facing Riley. But frustratingly, he denied having anything to do with Emma's death when his friends were trying to coach it out of him.
I wonder if that's because there was 2 of them there. There's been people in my life that were manipulative, but made a very big effort to.
Excuse
That was
me.
rude. Yeah, that's the Camry. No, a big effort to isolate information. Wouldn't tell me and another person unless we were separate. It's almost so they could control who knew what, or maybe it felt a bit more, controlled if it's one-on-one rather than one on two.
Yeah, possibly. And it was interesting,
Yeah.
I've watched a few of the tapes that were obviously taken, in that room. And the way he talks about it, he's so, he's convinced himself that he wasn't there and he had nothing to do with it. And his mates were I guess trying to question him, well,
Yeah.
what's the gun about? What's happening? And he's like, I don't know. Shit, who knows?
Did he ever... Sorry to interrupt. Did he ever blame it on the fact he'd been hit in the head and kidnapped?
Not that I saw in the tapes.
Yeah. Maybe he just conveniently forgot about all that.
Yeah, I don't know. Wow. The other stupid thing that... He's such an idiot. He tried to convince both of them to lie to detectives and say they were high on LSD and their minds were altered at the time of their statements. Which,
Not just weed, LSD. Yeah. You dropped acid.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just
wow.
Who's going to believe that?
Yeah.
Mister?
Oh. Detached from reality.
Completely.
Oh, yeah.
So Riley then suggested they go to the Bluffs, which was a nearby wooded area next to the Tennessee River, as he wanted to get rid of the gun by throwing it in the water.
Oh.
So he was convinced that they'd never find it there. The 2 agreed and said they'd have his back.
Why bring them? If you're gonna...
He kept being you don't have to come, seriously, but I appreciate your support, and of course,
Wow.
They were like, oh, of course we've got your back, mate. Like,
Yeah.
knowing that they're being recorded and they're trying to help, catch him. But
wow.
He's sitting there thinking, oh, I've got the two best friends ever. Like, they're going to come and help me dispose of this gun.
Oh.
So, anyway, on the way, they stopped at Riley's stepfather's house where the gun had been concealed in a garbage bag in the basement. But Riley was really secretive and, like, wouldn't let the boys come inside and wouldn't let them see the gun even after they asked him multiple times.
I wonder why.
Well, you'll find out a little bit. Kind of. I also just think he was, just a bit of a nut job.
I mean, with the lack of knowledge of what his home life was like as well.
It's hard to speculate. So obviously what Riley didn't know was that Noah and Alex were in a group text with the police and were providing progress updates the whole time.
Group text.
Yeah. As well as being followed by 3 undercover police cars.
Wow. All in Camrys.
One of them was currently in the room.
Yeah.
Under a very suspicious blanket.
Let's leave. It's like, because I just
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. That's my stomach. It's just real hungry. Let's go.
Oh, okay. So once they got to a parking lot close enough to the river, the 3 men got out of the car. This is when Riley took out a pair of white gloves and meticulously... just that image is odd. Meticulously took the gun out of the garbage bag. And simultaneously, Alex and Noah sent a code word into the group chat that now's the time for police to intervene.
Wow.
So the police appear on site. Noah and Alex obviously act surprised that they're there.
What?
But Riley was clearly in shock.
Yeah.
Police immediately arrested Riley and took him to take him into custody after being found in the possession of the gun, as well as a pile of all black clothing and shoes believed to be the outfit worn when Emma's supposed burglar was at her front door the previous Saturday.
Because I presume the mum or dad would have disclosed that to the police, right?
You'd think so,
Because that'd be the only person other than Riley himself being like, I protected her.
Yeah, exactly. So he was obviously going to try and dispose of all of that because they had camera footage of him just from like neighbours' CCTV walking up and down, and it's hard to see that it's him, but one of Emma's friends, I think her name's Hayley, lived close by and saw that Riley's car was parked like close by.
Oh, that's
and so
odd.
I was texting Riley being like, why are you around like weirdly walking around the neighbourhood? And he was like, what? No, I'm not. Like, just like completely dismissed it.
It's so deeply unsettling that in his head he thought he was getting all his ducks in a row. Like, this is the
way to get my woman back. Like,
do you reckon it was even about that? Like, because there was obviously those Snapchats that he was sending with other girls, but it's got to be just a control thing. Like, because she didn't want him and she was the one that broke up with him.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
it's like he
just can't handle that rejection.
Can't handle the fact that she doesn't want him back.
It would be so interesting to know what his home life and upbringing was like.
I know.
Because, like, little things like this have so many questions about his treatment. And, it could be that he had a very healthy home life and he was just like this. But
once again, the nature-nurture situation. It was clear that Riley was desperate to get Emma back and was going to great lengths to get her attention through the staged kidnapping, the burglary incident. But after Emma showed no interest and rejected him, he obviously lost the plot.
Yeah.
So fast forward to May 2018 to Riley's trial, where his defence team's position was that it was not a murder case. It was in fact a reckless homicide, which was surprising to the courtroom as they weren't denying that Riley shot the gun, but that he shot the gun in hope to scare Emma.
So with no intention of killing her.
So the hope was that she'd be so scared she would then once again turn to Riley for help.
Nah, I don't buy it. He knew where her bed was.
And if you see the diagram, it's bang on where her pillow is.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's close.
It's very close. He's not hiding in a bush meters away just blindly shooting.
Yeah.
Which, isn't any better. But it's so close and calculated.
Yeah. And I feel like if this was another, like, scare tactic for her, because obviously she like reached out to him when she was scared. So if he genuinely just wanted to scare her, was he then messaging her, like, trying to see if she, like, why she hadn't like, you know, with the kidnapping, he was obviously trying to evoke a response from her.
Definitely.
So he could, I don't know. To me, like, if he's gone radio silent after that, it kind of indicates that he knows that what his intention was, not
Exactly.
like a just scare her and then be like, oh, I actually haven't heard from her, maybe I'm gonna yeah.
I think the
it's
fact that he
bullcrap.
like absolutely spammed her phone
Yeah.
and left 40 voicemails, like he's obviously been sitting there stewing in
Yeah.
his anger, being like, you know,
Yeah.
why?
Like, none of it working.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's just absolutely lost the plot and he's driven down, and it's very calculated.
Yeah.
So luckily the prosecution saw right through this, and based on where the bullet holes were found, it was clear that they were aimed exactly where Riley knew Emma slept, and it was in order to kill her. And it took a week to get through all the details involved until May 8th, 2018. Riley was charged with first-degree murder of Emma Walker, as well as stalking, theft, reckless endangerment, and being in possession of a firearm during a dangerous felony.
Yeah.
So he was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum sentence of 50 years before a chance of being eligible for parole.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is heartbreaking, but Riley's last words to Emma's parents in the courtroom were, quote, "I'm sorry I took Emma away from you, that I robbed you of the experience of watching your daughter grow up. What I can do is tell you the truth about that night. I wanted to scare her. I never meant to take Emma's life. Again, I'm sorry."
The concerning thing is thinking about him showing up in all black clothing. I wonder if he was even taken by surprise that she reached out to him, like, because you were saying before he had the gun as early as the party, didn't he? Or just after the...
Just after.
Yeah, so I wonder if he had it on him.
Yeah,
and
possibly.
That there was a different intention, and then maybe he was taken by surprise that she actually reached out to him.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what was going through his mind, or if that was the outcome
Yeah.
after.
Either way, I'm so glad it was first degree, because there's obviously calculation here.
Oh, of course.
There's so much set up. And
the fact it's 30 minutes of a drive, 30 minutes of contemplating and thinking about what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's intent.
Why two bullets? If you're just trying to scare her, why 2 bullets?
Yeah. You don't need that extra one if you're trying to scare. That's a, to be sure, bullet.
And even through the wall, like, if, not that I ever would, but if I was just trying to scare someone by shooting a bullet, it'd be just like through the window. Or something real obvious and loud.
Like something up towards the roof. Like not exactly where a bed would be positioned up against.
Or I wouldn't even use a gun if I was just trying to scare someone.
All of it is completely unnecessary.
I need to clarify, though, that I would never do this. I'm not like, if I was going to scare someone, I'd just show it with a knife. Like, no, I would
so
never.
Make it clear.
Yeah. No automated weapons, I promise.
So in 2021, Riley actually requested a retrial.
2021, this is so recent. Yeah.
But the request was denied due to lack of evidence.
Good.
Thank
Stay
God.
in there.
So
I wonder what grounds he was requesting a retrial.
Insufficient evidence.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Except he admits that he shot the gun.
Yeah.
And it killed her.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I think, then there was a motion to, I guess, relook at it, and then that was denied, and then he requested a retrial, and that was denied as well. So they were like, yeah, sorry bro, you are done.
Wow.
So it's obviously a case of, if I can't have her, no one can. And it's heartbreaking that Emma was robbed of her life at such an early age. It's clear that she would have made such an impact to the world.
I know.
But all of this was taken away because of a boy who couldn't handle being rejected.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've read that her friends and family have worked tirelessly to keep Emma's legacy going, and has since had a dog park and neonatal ward named after Emma.
Wow.
To honour her and her passions, which is incredible.
That's so beautiful. Those poor parents, because they obviously acted on their parental instincts from the get-go.
Yeah. Yeah.
How horrible when other people's choices... It's like devastation if someone gets hit by a drunk driver. It's like someone else's poor choices in life have resulted in
such a ripple effect to so many people.
Yeah.
And I also read, I didn't write it down, but it was definitely touching. I saw a video of her graduation, like when she was set to graduate with the rest of her friends, and Jill and Mark accepted her diploma on behalf of her and placed a robe and what are the hats called?
Like the caps, like the graduation caps. I don't know the actual name for them though.
They had a seat reserved for her.
Oh, wow.
It was heartbreaking to watch. And her school actually has established a scholarship in her name as well, which is really great to see. So Jill and Mark hope that Emma is remembered as the incredible young woman she was, and to always show kindness to one another, just like Emma did.
She was even kind to him when he did not deserve it.
Exactly.
At all. Oh, the poor girl. What an awful, awful story.
It
like,
is.
Was it reality? Awful reality.
Awful case, yeah. And I think just also want to touch on, you know, domestic violence and abusive relationships obviously aren't reserved just for adult relationships.
No.
You know, the harsh reality is that any intimate relationship is at risk of this horrible behaviour. And I think all of the time, not all the time, but there are red flags, you know, like he was displaying early on, saying that she could or couldn't wear certain things or see certain people. And I think it's really important to call out that behaviour when you can safely, obviously, and just look out for people in your life, and even if something seems small, ensure you're checking in on people regularly, because you just never know what's going on behind closed doors. So,
I know.
Extremely sad case, horrible loss of life.
What a celebration of her life that her parents have like created for her as well, though.
Yeah, it's a real testament to them and how incredible that family is, and it's just heartbreaking.
What an absolute waste. And it's so much just driven from his insecurities.
I know.
His own insecurities.
Yeah.
Because if you really loved a person, maybe when they've broken up with you, you would reflect on the way that you've treated them, or all you would want to do is see them happy.
Exactly.
And it's not about possession. Oh, no. That's awful.
And on that, you know, like you just said, why would you do that to someone that you love? Like, another messed up thing that I read was how active he was on social media throughout it all. Like, apparently 2 weeks before her death, Riley tweeted, "I'd do anything to have it all back."
Oh, God.
Obviously when they were broken up.
Yeah.
And then after the shooting, Riley tweeted, "That's my beautiful Emma. Rest easy now, sweetheart. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 8.
Oh,
Be sure to remind God about our verse. I love you forever and always," which I actually looked into this verse.
Oh, good on you.
And it talks about a person's choice to love selflessly, and that love never fails and is eternal, which is so sick, because how do you knowingly shoot a gun into someone's bedroom of someone you supposedly love? Like,
did he have any psych evaluation done at all? Like that you...
Not that...
came through?
No, definitely not through the court process.
Yeah.
No. Like, he didn't plead for, you know.
No. I wonder what even, like, that first girlfriend thinks of all of this.
Wonder if she went through anything similar. Yeah.
Yep. And, like, how easy he dropped her on his terms. Because it wasn't what he wanted.
Exactly.
Oh, that gives me...
But, you know, that girlfriend was probably thinking, like, shit, that, you know, that could have been me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes you think, like, what damage could he have done if he wasn't caught? Like, thank God he was. But...
Yeah. And it's so... I mean, this is probably stereotypical, but, you know, the good-looking high schooler on the football team, there's probably so many little micro behaviors that he's gotten away with that, like, you always hear of serial killers, their first kill, like, they get away with it.
Yeah.
And, like, that feeds into it. And, like, there's obviously this escalation and, it's psychotic.
Yeah.
But-
Very, very upsetting.
Hindsight is so, like, 2020.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, definitely.
awful.
So
Some
that's
people are awful.
heartbreaking case of Emma Walker.
Oh, poor girl. That's devastating. And it's really, like, you hear a lot that the victims were always someone, like, with a beautiful smile.
You do.
But
She, I don't know.
embodied it.
Yeah,
Like,
if you look up photos of her, she is stunning. She's gorgeous. You can, like, see that her smile is so warm and genuine. And, yeah, it's just such a waste. It's
I
just
really feel for her
horrific.
parents as
Yeah,
well.
and Evan, you know, he's growing up without his sister.
Oh, you just, yeah. Oh, that's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Well,
So look out for one another. Be
Yeah.
safe.
you did absolutely fantastic. That was a great,
First go.
yeah. I don't want to call it a story because it's not a story. That was a really, like, respectful way to honour her.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously a lot of the details are around Riley because he's created such a shit show of
Yeah.
those last few days.
Yeah.
Like, he's just intervened in everything. But
Yeah.
I do want to focus on the fact
Her.
that,
Yeah.
Emma was just doing her best,
Yeah.
you know?
And
She
I-
was navigating
Yeah.
this abusive relationship.
Because, like, your high school relationships very rarely are, like, super smooth sailing. Like, you're figuring yourself out, you're figuring other people out. But you never expect it to end like that.
No.
It just seems like everyone except him was horrible in this story. So, and you hear sometimes it's like, friends ignored the behaviours, or friends found things out but didn't take it to the police because they thought they would, like, this person was joking, or the family members didn't take it as seriously as they should. But it seems like every single person did the right thing. Except
especially
him.
Alex and Noah. Like, you
Yeah.
think so many friends would be, oh, you know, bro code, let's keep it hush hush even if we're worried.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but the fact that they stood up and said, no, we want to catch him too.
Yeah.
Even they were doing their best.
Yeah, and so cowardly of him to, like, he shot her through the wall, not even through the window. Shot her while she was sleeping. Wouldn't call her by her name despite wanting her for the last 2 years. And then claims he just wanted to scare her. Like, no, it's so cowardly. But I'm glad he's in jail for first degree murder, and I'm glad no one is pandering to his requests.
Yeah, hopefully he, you know, his parole's denied
Yeah.
as well, and he's just in there for the rest of his life where
Yes.
he deserves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It's not
no.
a lot
Good
of,
job.
you know, they say justice is served, but I'm sure Jill and Mark,
No.
you know, nothing's ever gonna.
Justice would be that Emma, like, was
still
brought back
alive.
or was
Yeah.
still alive. And
Yeah. So anyway, leave it there.
yeah.
Thanks for joining us and killing time with us.
I was like, do you say it? Do I
Discussing
say it?
crime.
So